Welcome to the YouTube channel. My name is Brock Ashby. I'm an online personal trainer and body transformation coach, coaching people all over the world to transform their body and get the physique that they want to. And today I want to break down some goals to set when you are bulking. And the reason is because when we are bulking, often we don't look better. We actually look worse if we're doing it correctly. And the way that I mean worse is we gain body fat. So to create a optimal environment to build muscle, we have to be in a calorie surplus. That is the best way that we can slab on muscle, if we put it that way. But a part of the deal that no one really likes is that you have to gain body fat when you're in a calorie surplus. And you have to have this delayed gratification mindset that later on, at some point, we're going to have to lose that body fat that we gain. So I want to dangle some carrots in front of you, just to give you some motivation to keep pushing when you're bulking, because I think this is one of the biggest mistakes that people are making in their transformation, and that is not sticking to the bulk for long enough. Often people bulk, they do it wrong, they do it in a way where they get too fat too quick, or they get into a mindset where they actually can't handle being a little bit thicker and they give up, and then they go back to cutting, and then they're stuck in this cutting cycle, and that's why you don't successfully actually put on muscle on your frame over time. So I've got 6 points for you. It's going to be a relatively quick video. Stick around till the end. Number one is we need to focus on how much weight you're lifting or how many reps you are doing for that same weight on a specific exercise, aka progressive overload. And this is the most exciting thing about bulking. We have extra calories behind us because we're eating above maintenance to push our strength up and to push our muscle building potential up, to push our opportunity to lift more weight up. When you're in a calorie deficit, when you're cutting, it's still possible to get stronger. It's really rare if we want to build muscle. But when we're in a surplus and we have these extra calories behind us, we really have to make the most of these extra calories. And I think that's where you can double down on strength training, double down on muscle building potential, and applying progressive overload. It's much easier. You have more fuel, more calories in your system to lift more. And especially if you time your pre-workout meals correctly, so you're having it maybe anywhere between 90 to 2 hours before, like having a meal with a good decent set of protein, at least 30 grams, a good decent set of carbohydrates as well, minimal fat, and then you train. And even if we go before that, having caffeine about 45 to 60 minutes before, that can really help you peak into that workout session. And then you can absolutely kill it. You're not feeling tired. You're not feeling lethargic. You're not in a deficit of nutrients and energy. You're actually in a surplus, so it's easier to lift heavy. The second point is your rate of bulking. We need to focus on having a good amount of weight gain. And I want you to look at it in a monthly time frame. So we want to gain 1% of our body weight per month. If we're gaining faster than that, often we're putting on too much fat and we're building the same amount of muscle. So people often used to think, well, if we create a bigger surplus, we're going to build more muscle. That's not the case. So we only want to be gaining around 1% of our body weight per month, and that is a nice ballpark figure to focus on. People do it too fast, as I said, and then they get too fat, and then they give up because they're like, bulking's not for me, I'm just getting too fat. But the reality is they're just not doing it correctly. They're not doing it in a controlled manner. 1% of your body weight per month isn't much. So for me, I'm sitting at 91 kilos this morning, so that's 910 grams per month. That's only about 230, something like that, 230 grams per week. That's not much. So if you looked at my bulk over half a year, it wouldn't be much. Some people are like, I gained 5 kilos in 1 month. That's not muscle. That's the same amount of muscle that I would build, but you just put on an extra 4.1 kg of fat. So the more calories you eat doesn't mean the more muscle you build. Keep that in mind. Number 3, you need to focus on tracking your calories just as accurately as you would in a dieting phase. So when people bulk, often they get derailed and they just get kind of demotivated, or they just take it a bit less seriously because it's, I'm just building muscle. It's not as accurate as dieting. But when you're dieting, you're weighing everything. You're scanning all the barcodes. You're making sure all your macros and calories are locked in. But when you're bulking, often you're, I'll have this and that. I'll take a bite of that. I'll just have a little muesli bar, I don't need to track that. I'm bulking. The more calories, the better. That's the wrong mindset. We need to track our calories as accurately as we would in a dieting phase, and that's going to lead to maximum muscle building and minimizing the amount of fat that you gain, which is what the whole bulking deal is. Another thing that we need to focus on is sleeping 7 to 9 hours. I made a kind of a lame quote. Actually, comment below what you think is better. If you ain't sleeping, you ain't reaping. That's one of them. Got a smile there from Dan. That might win. If you ain't sleeping, your gains are sleeping. No smile there from Dan. So that one's probably not as good. But here's what I'm trying to say. If you're not sleeping enough, you're not going to be lifting more. You're going to be feeling less productive in the gym. And you're not going to be maximizing your potential to build muscle. So sleep 7 to 9 hours. Yes, you can track your sleep with your Fitbit, with your Oura Ring, with your Whoop strap, whatever you're using, or you can literally just keep tabs like I do and try to go to sleep at, okay, I'm going to sleep at 10. And then you're thinking, well, if I'm going to sleep 8 hours, I'm going to need to wake up at 6. And then just trying to strive for that. Number 5, getting an average of 8,000 steps per day just to maintain general health and physical activity levels. When you bulk, you don't have to turn into a walrus and not do as many steps as you normally would. I wouldn't recommend going for massive hikes or intentionally increasing the amount of steps that you do, because those are just calories that you have to eat back. And for people that are trying to bulk, some of them struggle to gain weight. And if you're burning even more calories by, I need to get my steps up, step, let's go for a hike, you're not going to be able to eat those calories back if you already struggle with getting the amount of calories in. So 8,000 steps per day, or looking at the weekly average of 56,000 per week is a really good way to do it. So if you get heaps of steps between Monday to Friday, maybe on the weekend you kind of blob out a bit and move a bit less. I'm not saying you have to change your complete lifestyle just for the sake of bulking, but I wouldn't recommend going crazy high, but I also wouldn't recommend just being a slob and kind of never moving because you're, trying to do the bulk life. And if you go for a walk, you're going to lose your gains. That's absolute rubbish. 8,000 is a pretty good average to aim for. The last point is looking at eating 5+ a day. So if you haven't heard that, that's just eating 5 fruits or vegetables per day. It's a pretty low standard to hit. So it's literally just 5 different fruits or vegetables, not 5 different fruits and 5 different vegetables. So it's not 10 different things, it's just 5. Often we want to try and make them different colors as well. So you could have an apple, a banana, an orange, blueberries and strawberries, and you've already hit it, right? So that's quite easy to hit. You throw in carrots, peas, corn, onion, all that type of stuff, and you're getting different colors. That's really cool. So that's just nice to keep for general health. Often when we're bulking, it's a struggle to get calories in, so we lean on fast food. Fast food often doesn't have a lot of fruits and vegetables or fiber in it. So we still want to be healthy. We don't just want to bulk and become this person that just gets really fat, has sleep apnea, and just rolls around in the gym. We still want to be healthy. We still want to be trying to getting in our fruits and vegetables, and that is by hitting 5+ a day. So hopefully these tips have helped. 6 tips or 6 goals to focus on when you're bulking. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know. Or if you have other goals that you use when you're bulking, put them in the comment section. I do read them and get back to you. Let's have a little chat. And if you like this video, there will be another one over here that YouTube thinks you'll like. And there'll be a floating head over here if you want to subscribe to my channel. Cheers.